What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. And this is where we at now. So you clearly see the title of the broadcast. So apparently, Gen Z is so coddled, and the parents of Gen Z children are so, overbearing that they're actually seeming to be going to these young people's jobs and conducting the interviews for them and actually, calling the bosses and scheduling things for them and asking for raises. Listen, look, man, this is all the research I'm gathering here. This is crazy, bruh. This is crazy. This is crazy. So we're gonna dive off into this foolishness here that's going on with some of these parents and definitely these children who are going to be crippled in life. Let's go here now. Quarters, nickels, and dimes.
Now at 8:14, taking helicopter parenting to a whole new level. A new study revealing Gen Z is having their parents, get this, join interviews and even call their bosses. CBS News Miami's Jim Barry went to a career expert about the alarming findings.
Well, taking helicopter parenting to a whole new level. New data from resumetemplates.com shows parents are applying for jobs, joining interviews, and even contacting managers on behalf of their Gen Z kids. And they're doing it at high rates. Joining me now is Julia Toothaker, a chief career strategist with Resume Templates. Julia, I have to tell you, I was floored when I read this. Were you as stunned as I am about what you found?
I was. I could not believe how many parents actually sat in on interviews with their kids, either virtually or sometimes in person. That absolutely floored me.
So what are the employers saying about this?
I can't imagine that most employers are happy about it. I think that it really shows the lack of maturity in the kids and the Gen Zers that are doing this. But I'm sure that there are some employers, especially of smaller organizations. I think of those.
Hold on, let me see something here. I think I see something just a little bit here. Let's see, January 2026, resume templates. Common surveys, 1,000 Gen Z students ages 18 to 23 who have searched for jobs within the last 2 years. Survey. Okay, so I just wanted to see some of the, I wanted to see the ages at least here from 18 to 23. Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? You can get your own apartment at 18. This makes no sense.
I think of those mom and pop shops that are probably okay with it, but I would not think that that is the norm.
And what's the dynamic that's triggering this? Are kids socially awkward? Are the parents nervous that their kids won't get a job? What is it?
I think it's all of that. I think, we have a generation that has been called the anxious generation. And I think that that's some of what we're seeing in this behavior from parents. But I also think that parents see what's going on in terms of getting a job and they know that it's a lot more difficult. And so I think they think that they're trying to help their kids, but when in reality, it's holding their kids back because they need to be more independent in the workplace.
Right. And that makes sense. And also Gen Z, these kids didn't go outside like we did as millennials. Now, at the same time, though, too, the late millennials, late 80s, early 90s, they started getting technology a little bit hard after they were born. So let's say you born in 89, 90, somewhere in there, they were ingrained in technology a lot more than somebody that was from, 80 to 83, 84 in that range. But no, we went outside. We had technology. I had like Nintendos and Game Boys and stuff like that, but we still went outside and interacted with people, got people skills basically. Climbed trees, fell out of trees. Jesus Christ, these kids didn't go outside. That's the reason why they don't have people skills and they can't get jobs on their own. And their parents also are helicopter parents, and they're just all over these children's backs. It's ridiculous out here, bro. This is crazy. This is a crazy way of living here. Jesus.
Just going to say, if I'm an employer and the mama shows up at the job interview, I'm thinking maybe this kid's not ready.
Exactly. I think most employers are going to think that way, especially when you get into more of a corporate space. You have to be able to act independently. You can't have your parent speaking on your behalf. Maybe in some very unique situations, they can call in if you're ill or something happens, but that's very, very
That makes sense, of course. I mean, if you're ill or something like that, your parent would have to call, or a close person to you, whatever.
rare.
Yeah, very quickly. Is this a sign that the kids should do what I did, get a job when you're like 13, 14 years old? So by the time it's time for a real job, you're good?
I think any kind of work experience for younger kids is helpful, but also we want them to be in school and be students and learn as much as possible. But I do think that parents need to be guides more than coming in and doing the job for their kids.
There you go. Land that helicopter and let them learn how to fly on their own. Julia.
Right. And, at the same time, though, too, from what she was saying, and for what he said, yeah, definitely these young boys, get their ass out, let them cut some grass or something. You can make good $25, something like that, during the summertime. I'll put it that way. She mentioned going to school and stuff. Of course, not during school season. Makes no sense then. But, summertime, they're out of school, majority of them. Let these young boys get out here and do some work. McDonald's is always hiring, cashiers and stuff like that. I mean, this don't make no sense, bro. And get them into, starting the job that way. Now I get it. You're 14, 15, 16. Yeah, your parents are going to go with you to a degree. I mean, they have to actually okay and sign off for you to legally work. So they have to kind of be there at those ages. But you're talking about these people are 18 to 23. Jesus Christ, bro. This is madness out here. So we're going to keep going because it gets wilder.
6% of Gen Z applicants bring a parent to their job interview.
That cannot be right. Would you ever hire somebody that brought a parent?
Here's who I blame for that.
The parents, I
The
know.
parent.
But
That is unbelievable. That is 1 in 4. And of course,
gosh, it
no,
is 1 in 4.
I wouldn't hire somebody who brought their parent to a job interview. And I would, as I escorted them out, tell the parent, here's the name and number of my therapist. You need to phone them.
Wow. Here's the number to the therapist. And that makes perfect sense to me. Hold on. Excuse me. That makes perfect sense to me. Yeah, they need some type of mental help. Because as a parent and you taking your child to a job interview, you need to let them go handle that on their own. That, like the numbers I told you that I read off, 18 to 23 and probably older. Jesus Christ, man. Them people don't need you around.
Listen to this. 7% of those people said that their parents even answered questions for them during the interview.
It's fucking wild.
Hey, she said it, I didn't. Man, this is tragic out here that we're living in a day and time where these children, these younger generation of children are so coddled and these parents are so stupid. So they are doing this to these children and making unhealthy human beings for society. Let's keep going.
Cash?
This isn't Cash. It's Tanya, Cash's mom. We've met before.
Oh, hi, Tanya. Yeah, I remember. You sat in on Cash's interview the whole time.
Yes. Wasn't that a great interview?
He did great, yeah.
Well, that's actually why I'm calling. I think it's about time Cash got a raise. Oh, the poor boy can barely afford his Fortnite skins. He's eating dinner at my house every night.
Raises happen regularly.
Right.
So, okay, I'm assuming that the son doesn't live with her. If she's like he's eating dinner at her house every night, because if he actually still lives there, then yeah, that's your child. He's supposed to eat dinner with you every night. If he's staying with you, I mean, was you gonna stop feeding your child because he got a piece of job and he's living with you? Jesus Christ. Anyway, so this is my assumption so far here. This is wow. So she's calling her son's job to ask for a raise for him because he can't afford Fortnite skins or whatever the fuck that is. And also he's eating at her house.
Right. But Cash is clearly special, right? Better than your other employees.
Well, he is.
He is what? Amazing? Your best worker?
He's definitely a great employee, Tanya. But I'm actually just not directly involved in salary decisions.
Right. Of course you're not. Of course not. Classic corporate, taking advantage of a poor, hardworking boy.
I'm sure he's doing fine.
No, Jamie. No, he's not. He hasn't even done his laundry in weeks. Guess who's picking up that slack?
Tanya, I don't think that.
You know what? Forget it. I'll just tell Cash to start a union.
Man, this is wild. So okay, by the end of it here, maybe he's still living with her, but eating food at your mom's house, and you're living like, yeah, you come on. What is she talking about? Jesus Christ, man, stop it, bro. This woman is calling this boy's job because he a boy. Man, ain't no way in hell I allow my mom or dad to do. Well, let's just be honest here. Most solid thinking men are not going to do no dumb shit like what we're talking about here. Going to the interviews with their children, calling their child's boss and all. No solid man is going to do no crazy shit like this. This is all some woman shit. Sorry, bro. This all some woman shit here. Ain't no men are gonna do this type of dumbass shit with their child. No, I'm not gonna call my daughter's boss, ask for a raise for her. Come on.
80% of Gen Z workers admit they've had their parents call their boss for them. Yes, you heard me right. A new survey of more than 800 Gen Z workers found that mom and dad aren't just helping with resumes or job searches. They're actually stepping in at their kids' jobs, calling their kids' managers to ask for time off, manage workplace conflicts, even asking for a raise or a promotion on their child's behalf. But the parental interventions start way before they actually land the job. Gen Zers also said that their parents were deeply involved in the job search process, including with their resumes, which 1 in 3 said their parents had written for them. And more than 3/4 had had a parent come with them on a job interview. Yes, even the in-person ones. But before we all roll our eyes too late, there's an elephant in the room here. Because this isn't just a Gen Z problem, it's also a parenting one. Tons of studies have shown that Gen Zers grew up under very hands-on helicopter parenting at rates never before seen. And it's left a lot of them really lacking in basic self-sufficiency skills. Seems the helicopter parents that used to email teachers to demand their kid get an A for late work are now choppering into HR to give their bosses a talking to as well. And the bosses in question, not loving it. One 2024 study said that 1 in 5 managers were actively avoiding hiring Gen Zers in part because of situations like this. Career guidance and support are one thing, but doing the work for your child is quite another. It might be time for some Gen Z workers to take the training wheels off, because no one wants to have to negotiate with your mom about your vacation days.
Right. And these are the facts. It is what it is out here. Gen Z, if on mass, what was the lady said? What, 1 out of 4, something like that. Man, oh my goodness, this is sad here, and we are creating a generation of incompetent people. Like, what are you gonna do if you become a senator or some shit? What, your mom gonna come up and help you make laws? Like, make this make sense to me. And it seems like these Gen Zs, some of them, I guarantee it's probably not, of course it's not all, but it seems to me that the ones that are being done this way by their parents are going to be very crippled in society, and they're going to be in for a rude awakening. What if, God forbid, one of them lose their parent and they have to keep going in life, but the whole time their parent has been hovercrafting them and making decisions about jobs and this and that and mutu. Man, oh my goodness, it's going to be a huge problem out here in these streets with some of these Gen Zs. And these are the people that are supposed to be the next generation's leaders and stuff like that. They're supposed to be protecting the elders and all this other type of stuff. Like, they're supposed to be out here working these jobs and trying to create new ways for humankind to grow. Man, oh my goodness, dude. Oh Lord. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Ever do this? Maybe this is why so many people don't understand Gen Z today. In a recent story out of the Business Insider, it turns out 1 in 5 job applicants are showing up to interviews with mom and dad, and they're all Gen Z applicants. I never once thought in my life, let me bring my mother or father with me to a job interview. Maybe, and this didn't happen with me, maybe it happened with you, maybe I can understand it, is if mom or dad were in the same industry and maybe knew the person that was interviewing you, even that's a stretch. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're going for a job, the last thing the employer wants to think is this person can only take the job if mom and dad can help out or if mom and dad approve. I mean, do you expect we're going to ask your mom and your dad some questions on the job interview? Don't do that. In fact, a survey found some employers favor older workers, and this could be one of the reasons why. Have you ever even thought about bringing mom or dad to a job interview? And if so, explain why. And if you haven't, and you're like me, tell me in the comments why you think this is kind of ludicrous. They're doing it today.
At the end of the day here, this is where we at. We have a huge problem with this situation with Gen Z and their parents. Some of their parents are acting this way, are stepping in situations to where that child needs to fly. That child needs to grow. I'm so thankful I did not grow up in a generation to where, you know, man, geez, I'm so thankful my parents weren't paranoid. That my generation of parents weren't paranoid. We as children, we went outside, played till the street lights came on, you know, and it was our responsibility to make sure that we did things safe and got back home safe. We had that responsibility as young people because we were expected to have common fucking sense. This makes no sense here, bro. This is wild. These new age parents are setting these children up for failure, man. They're not going to be able to run the country. They're not going to be able to be substantial parents. They're not going to be able to do anything that needs to be done to keep society running. Jesus, oh my goodness. At least running properly. It's going to be running, but how it's going to look, nobody knows at this point. Not with them relying on their parents to get them jobs and shit like that. Man, oh man. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line. Man, y'all got to stop. Y'all need to stop this. You parents out there that are doing this type of stuff, bro. Oh, man, you're destroying the future. You're destroying the future. These children are not going to be able to, man.